He is part of the 8.5-hour extravaganza that I'm proud to host for NFL Network on Sunday. NFL Game Day morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, all the way to 5:30 in the afternoon for Super Bowl 55. The double nickel himself from those first dynastic Patriots teams, Willie McGinest, part of that broadcast and back here on the show. How are you, Willie?
I'm doing well, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It's like Groundhog Day. Here we are. Let's talk Brady, right? The Super Bowl. How are they going to stop Brady? It's crazy. I mean, honestly, I could just pull out my notes from like 2000 when you were playing against him, and it's the same thing. Get him off the spot. Can you confuse him? It's crazy, Willie. Nuts.
It's pretty surreal, Rich. I was just talking to a couple of guys, and I did notice something. These two offenses are the most talented offenses in each conference. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and all the weapons they have offensively, and if you look at the Bucks, all the talent that they have, I don't think you could find another team on each side that has this much talent playing in a Super Bowl that's going to go head to head. It's pretty explosive. Like there's 1,000 storylines that you can just go up and down and talk about in matchups and different things, and it makes it for a great game.
So let's just, before we get into some deeper X's and O's, let's just again get inside Brady's mind, best you can tell. Is there any part of him, quiet moment, where he's apparently got tons of them because he mentioned Giselle took the kids out of the house, so he's home alone like Kevin, back in the movies. To watch film and just being able to focus on everything. Do you think he sits there and thinks to himself at any point in time, that Mahomes is on pace, Mahomes is getting off to a very nice start here, that it is possible with everything set up, that his records that he's setting right now could way down the road be threatened, and that's part of the motivation for him on Sunday, as if he needs any more? Is that, do you think, at all possible, Willie?
I think as a competitor, Rich, the answer is yes, in a sense. I think as a competitor, you always want to use whatever it is to motivate you. Whether people are saying you're the old head, is what they're calling them, the old head, and the young kid on the block is coming to take over. If somebody's saying he's on pace to break every record and everything you've done, whatever the noise is out there, I think as a competitor that's had so much success over the years, so much success, in order not to become complacent, in order to always compete at a high level and have an edge and find something to be upset and motivated and mad about going into a game, you can use whatever it is. And I think for Brady, he understands where he is. He doesn't care about where he's been and what he's accomplished. He just knows this is the next one. It's big. It's legendary. It's historic. And it's something in a lot of ways that's never, ever happened in NFL history that he's doing, the journey and the road he's on. And I would say for, Mahomes, yes, he's on track to do a lot of great things, but there are so many things that have to be in place with coaches, with players, with talent, with mentality, with systems, whatever it is that you got to keep in place to have this type of longevity and long-term success, that it just gets in the way and makes it so tough. So in my opinion, what Tom Brady has achieved over his career will never, ever be duplicated by another player again. There's just too many things that have to factor in, have to stay in place for it to happen. And I think he's talking to himself, saying, I want more and more and more. The more they say I can't do, the more I'm going to do. I'm at 6. Nobody's had 6 but Jordan in a whole other sport. I want 7. After 7, I'm ready to go after a couple of weeks and start working on number 8. That's just his mentality. He's not going to get complacent. He's not going to get relaxed until, like he says, until I suck. And then I'll sit back and reflect on everything I've done and all the accomplishments and all the other stuff. But right now, like, history is continuously in the making, and he understands that.
That's why I've said his legacy is already way secured, because his legacy is too much is never enough. That's his legacy,
Right.
Period and end of story. Willie McGinest here on the Rich Eisen Show. So, look, you know better than anybody else that crazy things happen in a Super Bowl, and you never know what can turn a game. But that said, the matchup that you think Super Bowl 55 hinges on, X's and O's, is what, Willie McGinest?
I think it's going to come down to the defenses. I think we both understand clearly how explosive both offenses is. So it's going to be the defense that when either team gets in the red zone, at least 50% of the time or half the time, can you limit them to field goals instead of touchdowns? The pass rush is going to be crucial for both sides. The Bucs, I think, have a better pass rush overall because they got interior and guys on the outside that can win the one-on-one battle across the board. The Chiefs, they have Chris Jones and they have Clark. They got guys that can get there as well. And I think if you can't control the trenches and dictate that and contain the quarterback, whether it's Brady, getting to the pocket and impacting the pocket, with Mahomes keeping him in the pocket and putting pressure on him with 4 to 5 only, so you can drop everybody else and be physical with the receivers at the line, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance in this game. We've already seen playing against the Chiefs, whether it's zone, whether it's man, whatever it is, they got an answer for it. So you've got to come up with multiple ways to be effective, and it starts up front. You can't get pressure and win a one-on-one battles, which they just lost their left tackle. The center's on COVID alert right now, and they've had to shuffle and move guys around. That's going to be crucial in this game. Which front seven and front four can affect the pocket the most?
Well, the one matchup I came on the air to mention, and I'm not mentioning this to you so you can echo back whether I'm right or not. The reason why I bring it up is you are, clearly one of the best linebackers I've ever seen play. And I just think the way that Levante David and Devin White have been playing have been off the charts. And here comes Kelce their way. To me, this is the matchup for Super Bowl 55. How do you see that one playing out?
It is. It is the matchup because I think Todd Bowles has, he has done it, Rich. He has mixed coverages. He has mixed the pass rush. He's brought Devin White and Levante David, but these are two of the guys that are the best probably at playing in space and coverage in the league as a tandem. They're probably the best. And when you look at Kelce, he's the guy that is the crucial part of their offense because he plays every single receiver position. The X, the Y, the Z, the H. He plays the FM motion. He plays in the slot. He plays everywhere. So you have to have a guy physical enough to line up. You got to have a guy athletic and fast enough to run with him and to be able to contend when the ball's in the air. So whether you're mixing a linebacker like Devin White, who we saw in coverage, can pick the ball off, play great in space, or Levante David, or you're putting a safety, and one of your linebackers underneath, it just depends. But he is the guy that is going to break everything open, and you have to stop no matter what. It's Kelce. So you got to figure out how to mix and match that and change things around. But one way is not going to win the game for you defensively because they have so many adjustments and personnel groups and formations that they use. It's tough. It's tough. Andy Reid and Bieniemy, they do a great job and make it hard for any defense.
Ask the poll question of Willie McGinest before we send him on to his day. Chris, he's got a lot on his plate today. Go for it.
All right, Willie. Sadly, it's the anniversary of the helmet catch. Sorry, bud. What's the worst way to lose the Super Bowl? The helmet catch, the Butler pick, Kevin Dyson tackled at the 1, or Scott Norwood missing a field goal?
Wow. Well, I wasn't there for the helmet catch. I was in Cleveland, so that one didn't hurt me too bad. I wanted to see my guys win, but I wasn't on that squad. I would say the Dyson, man. coming up like an inch or a half a yard short of reaching the ball in there, giving that last effort or whatever, getting in there. Field goals are tough, but I would say that just being so close but so far.
Huh. Well, I mean, the question for the regular season, what's the worst way to lose a regular season game, was having one of the best defensive players go off due to cramping, but come back right away and tackle Edgerrin James in a game. That was the winner of that poll question, Willie.
Oh, wow. Now it's cramping. I didn't know it was cramping. I thought I jammed my knee in the turf or something. Now it's cramping.
Is that what it was?
The story changes every time, Rich. It gets better and better every time.
But, I mean, you came back like running like a deer, Willie. I mean, that's a Hall of Famer you stopped.
Sprinted to midfield.
Yeah. Yeah, Willie.
Hey, man.
What a miraculous recovery.
Mind over matter. Mind over matter.
We're going to have a fun 8.5 hours, Willie. We're going to have a fun 8.5 hours on Sunday hanging out.
Yes, we will. I look forward to it.
I look forward to it too, Willie. You take care of yourself. Thanks for the call. I always cherish it. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
Truly.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. It's Willie McGinest, at Willie McGinest on both Twitter and Instagram. Here on The Rich Eisen Show.